Everybody, we're talking about Snyder Cut, Justice League. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. We had a great week with Mortal Kombat this week. Thanks to everybody for blowing up the channel. We're seeing numbers grow more and more and more, and we're getting closer and closer to monetization. But more importantly, we have witnessed a moment of healing in the film industry, in the comic book industry. We have witnessed a great film that I can't wait to watch again. And to have seen something finally come to fruition from the hard work and dedication of so many fans, of so many people, for the vision to finally win out. Pretty awesome story. But based on the merits of the film alone, was it worth the wait? Was it worth the hype? Was it worth producing, putting together? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is one of the definitive DC films, DC experiences. Every single one of these characters had room to breathe. And I've watched other reviewers and other people on YouTube saying the same thing. There was room to breathe for these characters. All of their motivations made sense. Cyborg made sense. He really is the heart of the story. His family is the heart of the story. The theme of this film is self-sacrifice. And how that was echoed so much throughout the entire script. When you put the whole thing together, it just makes so much sense. And what's frightening is the powers that be in the past at Warner Brothers thought, okay, we can cut this and this is still going to be a good movie. No. No. Shabisti in chat says, without question, one of the best superhero films. Dude! I hear ya. I'm still waiting for the dust to settle. I'm still waiting for the hype to settle, but I am so happy with the team at the end coming together, but every single individual had their own shift, their own obstacle to overcome. And you really saw it with Cyborg, you saw it with Flash. Yeah. Dog Soldier says he's heard mixed reviews. I get it. I'm sure there's some mixed reviews. People like, some of the things that stand out, it's like Martian Manhunter seemed kind of out of nowhere if there's not going to be a sequel and stuff like that. Like, I get those critiques. But in the realm of fantasy and creating a comic book movie that serves more of the comic book genre than it does the mainstream audience genre, that's why this creative vision was such a big creative swing. And that's why it's a home run, is because it incorporates a lot of the comic book essence, where every single one of these stories gets the time they need. Every single one of these characters gets the time they need to build their arc. And damn, do they get satisfaction at the end. I know one of the critiques is, oh, there's so much slow motion in the fighting sequences. I like to see fights. And if the super fast action of these superhero characters requires slow motion, okay, I'm in. For every shot, yeah, maybe a little gratuitous, okay, I can see the argument. But all of us as fans want one thing when it comes to fight scenes: it's longer takes. Because that makes the action more dramatic, and it makes the skill of the filmmaker and the stunt performers and the actor that much more challenged in order to create a shot like that. Which is why when we see shots like that, it captivates us so much, it lifts us out of our seat going, oh, wow, look at the artistry behind what it took to shoot something like this. So if we can have more than that in our action sequences, yes, please. But in a superhero world with the slow motion, I don't mind it. And none of the slow motion really took me out of stuff. I've gone back and watched different sequences twice, 3, 4 times, especially the final sequence. Some arguments, Dog Soldier's saying that it didn't have to be 4 hours. I disagree. Now, if you're trying to fit this in a theatrical realm of trying to put it in movie theaters at 4 hours, that's a difficult sell, where they were trying to divvy it up into different films. But we're in a new frontier of enjoying this type of media. And for me to be able to watch it on HBO Max from the comfort of my own home, crank the volume all the way up on Dolby Atmos on my 65-inch OLED screen, I'm cool with that. I can pause it whenever I want. But the way they built the chapters in the file itself, in the narrative itself, in the storytelling, made every single one of these moments that much more impactful when it would go to black. And then the next part would come up with a quote. It was effective. It worked. It worked because it catered to our human nature of digesting in chapters. Oh, we can't do it in a 2-hour film. We can't do it in a 3-hour film. How do we do it? 4 hours, but we'll do it in chapters. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And others said to the music. I like the music. Thought the music was great. The voice singing when Wonder Woman showed up. Yeah, I dug it. It didn't take me out of it. It just was, she's from a different world type of vibe, and that's what I got with that music. And then that crazy guitar riff that gets you pumped up every single time. And yes, Wonder Woman was way more ferocious. She was a warrior. Hell yeah. I mean, she was wrecking face, and when she killed that dude and blew out that wall and just his, I mean, so the whole sequence is amazing. The whole sequence is so tightly packed. She's in Europe. Guys come in, they're gonna blow it up. She stops the bomb. He's gonna shoot them all up. She comes down, defends them, and then I don't believe it, and then she kills him. Hell yeah. Yes. The guy was gonna murder children. Yeah, that's the Wonder Woman we all want to see. That can be the warrior when necessary, have mercy when she needs to give mercy, and then make sure all the kids are okay. Everybody's all right. It's all right. It's over. You can stand up. All the walls have been blown out behind her. Oh man, that's a great moment when that kid's just scared, and then, well, can I be like you one day? You can be anything. Yeah, like that. They're trying. Wonder Woman's trying. She's trying to do good in the world after Superman's gone. And you feel the weight, dude, when Superman is yelling at the beginning, dude. You feel the weight, you feel the impact of why Superman was so important, why he is so important. And for this team to recognize that they're in trouble, that there is a force super powerful, and that the one being that's as powerful as Darkseid, perhaps to stop him, is Kal-El of Krypton, Superman. He is a very important piece to a much bigger whole. And then Steppenwolf discovers that the anti-life equation is on Earth. The primitive Earth is the primitive world that stopped Darkseid a long time ago, back when he was Uxas. So these deeper narrative threads that come from the comic book are so vital and important because they raise the stakes. They raise the necessary stakes. Not just how bad and evil and powerful these dark forces are, but how important Superman is to meet them. And if people want to complain, oh, he's boring, he's a Boy Scout. Boy Scout! You're trying to do the right thing in a world made of cardboard. You are a god among men. You could destroy everything if you wanted to in a second, but you don't because of how you were raised by Jonathan and Martha Kent and by your friends and the love you have for Lois. That is humanity. And that's what stops Clark, Superman, from becoming a tyrant. And that's why his father was so, tried to instruct him through the computer, but also, hopefully, at least in Smallville, the TV show, Jonathan had come to Smallville like back in the 60s or 40s or something like that. Real cool episode. But he had known Jonathan's grandfather, and he had known the Kents to be good people, which is why he knew where to send them, or send them close to Earth. Pretty neat little piece. This film has me hyped for a potential future. it has me hyped for a potential future of what could happen with the DCEU because of the threat of Darkseid and what he represents. And also these heroes having come together and seeing what they were capable of. And now that they've gone off on their own films, at least with Aquaman, which is great. I think Aquaman isn't that technically the only, Birds of Prey is. Yeah, Suicide Squad happens before Justice League, but Birds of Prey happens, I believe, after Steppenwolf's invasion. I'm not sure actually where Birds of Prey falls. But yeah, Sean Rowe, what's up, man? Steppenwolf had a huge arc that made him a much better villain. You're right, dude. Steppenwolf, you almost started to feel bad for him. You know? Like, what type of betrayal happened back then? You know, what's he trying to do? But dang, his motivation is so captivating. And that's why the end sequence is so good. When Superman is beating the shit out of him and cuts his horn, you're thinking, whoa, dude. Whoa. They mean business. I mean, Steppenwolf was trying to destroy the whole planet. He's a murderer. I love that shot when Diana and then Steppenwolf flies back. But yeah, Steppenwolf, Superman was punching that armor. He was just trying to destroy that armor with his krypton beams and punching it. And then he was exposed. And then he's like, oh, my horn. You know, you could just get the sense of rage, his battle cry, his death cry. Then Aquaman, shink! Because the armor was beaten away. The armor had been beaten away by Superman. So Aquaman gets him. Superman smiles, lines up. And this whole time, Darkseid's watching this shit. And he punches him off the trident. And then Diana has that beautiful... I've watched that sequence 5 times, and I turned the volume all the way up, and you can hear her cry all the way through, but all of the sound is going up to match the shing of the sword. It's so beautifully sound designed because you just feel all of the tension, all of the deaths of the Amazons and everybody else, all the destruction that Steppenwolf has done from afar, Darkseid having caused this as well, and Diana cuts his head off, and the body and the head go through the portal, and Darkseid crushes the head. Dude, I mean, it's so good. Yeah, there was motive. The motive made the danger more palpable. Absolutely. It made the film make so much more sense. Just like with Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition. That film made so much more sense. I remember when I watched the BVS in theaters, and when Scoot blows up in the wheelchair, I'm thinking, Superman could have stopped that. He's fast enough to stop that. What the F? But then Lois's understanding of the metal and doing the bullet tracking and stuff, oh, it's the same metal made of lead. Superman couldn't see because it was made of lead. I needed that piece to kind of figure out why Superman wasn't being Superman in that court moment, but that's why the Ultimate Edition was important, to give those threads there to help explain the story better. And that's what we got with Justice League, man. Whew. Barry Allen, the Flash, dude. It hints to him being able to go back in time because of, he's like, time gets kind of wonky when they resurrect Superman. But the vision that Cyborg has of the nightmare, you know, of what could happen. Holy shit. Seeing that vision is crazy. And so creative and so powerful. And Cyborg said no, but then Flash thought it was go. And he went. And just how they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure all this stuff out, but they all have their individual powers and their individual understanding of the powers and overcoming those obstacles. Cyborg not being broken. Flash, when he gets hit, and they failed. And I thought this was so creative, so genius of they failed. Darkseid won, and you see the Earth get destroyed, and Darkseid's sitting there on his throne, and it's all over. But then Barry is able to vibrate himself into time, and to that self-monologue of, you know, he's talking to his dad, your son was one of the best. While he's running and catching all the electricity from all the light poles before they're destroyed, it's just so good. It's so goddamn good, man. It's so good visually. Why would you cut this? Why would you want to cut this? That's what baffles my mind. But then again, you know, you think about all of these scenes were necessary for every character to be paid off, which meant every single second in all these 4 hours was pretty impactful. And you gotta have Lois, you gotta have Martha, you gotta have Martian Manhunter, like you gotta have all this stuff, but then they give us even more. And that's why it felt like such an epic. And we could digest all 4 of the hours and not complain, because we're getting so much quality with these characters. We're getting things that we've theory crafted and thought of and discussed on YouTube and other places, but the filmmakers are actually putting it together and giving it to us. So everything was just ultimately better. From the character motivation to the visual effects, to the heart of the story, to the repetition of self-sacrifice. And that's why the epilogue is so powerful. That dream is so powerful. The future sequence really is Joker and Batman talking. And I'm thinking, oh, it's in his mind. I'm going, and then later it's like, no, they're really there. Joker and Batman have teamed up, and they've done this in the comics a couple times. But Joker, I forget the phrasing because I got to go back and watch the sequence again. But when he says, you know, how many multiverses had to suffer because you wouldn't sacrifice yourself? Lois is the key. Lois is the key. So I think what would happen in the future is Darkseid, and you see that Darkseid kills Aquaman, he destroys Lois, and he... Because you see Superman cradling that skeleton. It's Lois and the unborn baby. And Darkseid takes over. And so Superman has nothing left to live for, so he becomes the enforcer for Darkseid. Yeah. Yeah. Cyborg was terribly nerfed by Whedon. Oh, what's up, Julian? Right on. He's so much creepier now. Yeah, but who do you... Which he should be, Steve? Is Superman more creepy, or... Yes, I'm really glad they were able to have a great story with Cyborg. Just what a difference. What a difference it made. And helping the woman get the money. It was like, oh man, I could use that, Cyborg. Could you help me with some stuff? Yeah, it was great. It's great. All great motivations. But that epilogue, dude, Joker with Batman. So the original story that was put together for multiple movies, either 2 or 3 movies, is that... And this has been scrapped, I'm pretty sure, but Lois and Bruce got together when she was mourning, and then she was pregnant, but she didn't know if it was Clark or Bruce's, and Clark comes back as Superman. But then Darkseid does invade, and he has, Batman has Lois in the Batcave to protect her, and he's there. Darkseid shows up through a boom tube, kills Lois with the Omega beams, and that's what breaks Superman's heart, because Batman was entrusted to protect her, and then that's where Superman loses it. So Flash is trying to go back and tell him that Lois is the key, and then they go back in time, and Batman does sacrifice himself by jumping in front of the Omega beams instead of Lois getting hit by them. And then later it's revealed that that the baby is actually Bruce's and not Clark's, and so they name him Clark or Bruce Kent, or I think they call him Bruce Kent or something like that. And Superman does help raise him, but then he becomes the next Batman. Which, yeah, let's not have a love triangle between Lois, Bruce, and Superman. Let's cut that. That's a no. So, pretty sure they're not going to do that if they do make a sequel here. But the idea of self-sacrifice and Batman not sacrificing himself and all these other people having to die, and that's what Joker referring to that of how many multiverses are screwed up because you wouldn't sacrifice yourself. You're like, damn. And it ties even further to Robin dying when Joker says, you know, you sent a boy in to do a man's job. And the dialogue between the two of them, and Joe Manganiello's there. You got Amber Heard there with her accent that they cut. It was like her accent would come in and out, but then I think they just finally cut it. But the vision for the Atlanteans was, I guess, more regal, more of the dynasty, kingdom royalty, which is why they have the accents and stuff. But works without it. You got to ask Dolph Lundgren and I don't think Willem Dafoe had an accent, but it was cool seeing him and cool seeing them set up the Aquaman story, the Aquaman movie within Justice League for sure. For sure, it's a great time to be alive because we had a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline on HBO Max. But for Zack Snyder, Deborah Snyder, the Snyder team, the Snyder family to get all their visual effects masters together and really put this vision into reality is awesome. It is awesome. And it was totally worth fighting for. It was totally worth fighting for him to make this vision come true, because what a difference it's made. And it makes all the previous films, the Batman v Superman, the Man of Steel, better because it completes the picture. It completes the full vision. And man, we still have Darkseid. Ooh, Shabisti. I felt like when Lois stopped Clark from killing bats, he scanned her just like he did the others before the fight, and he saw she was pregnant at that moment. Dude, he was gonna kill Batman. Those gauntlets saved him. But damn, that was dark. Because he didn't really know. He was going off of instinct. He was going off of instinct. Crazy. Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe he did scan her and saw. Yeah, we all want a sequel to this, dude. We all want a sequel to this. I know Walter Amado said it's a cul-de-sac, but you build mansions on a cul-de-sac. It can exist on HBO Max. Give us more of this. And seeing Ben Affleck in the reshoots at the end, looking good, talking to Martian Manhunter, and Martian Manhunter's like, hey, there's a war coming, but it looks like I got to be involved. And Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne's like, okay, cool. I'm glad you're not an enemy. Yeah. I did too, Shabisi, and I thought it was funny that, Batman's able to incorporate this technology, and then Wonder Woman's like, oh, why don't you give him a lasso? In black, of course. I like, oh, he's going to copy me. But it's a good tactic to have. It's to learn and adapt the science. Yeah. He looked almost younger. Yeah, like the weight had been lifted. He was successful. He was able to relax a little bit. But damn. Just to see that shot of Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, all in a way orphans or estranged from their lands, or far from their lands. Wonder Woman's not necessarily estranged, she just, left. She's in the world of men. Yeah, just to see them click and connect in a way, especially when they were taking down Steppenwolf and Batman and Flash and Cyborg, kind of like, Batman's definitely a martial artist, but he's also a tech nerd. He knows how to do cool stuff. So then you had the Brawlers, and then the Brains. And the Brains were back as the Brawlers were taking down Steppenwolf. It was great, dude. It was great. All right, chat, any further thoughts? Any last thoughts based off of your experience with Snyder Cut? I'll let the floor be open for a couple more minutes. But yeah, congratulations to Zack Snyder, Deborah Snyder, and the whole crew. The cast, everybody that wanted to make this right, and yeah, the business intentions for HBO Max to get some more viewership and subscribers. But that's the name of the game, folks. That's the name of the game. But if you have great art, if you have a vision that can be complete, people are on board. And when you have Batman talking to Joker, and Batman is talking about when Harley Quinn was dying in his arms, bleeding out, and she made Bruce make a promise to her that he would kill Joker slowly. Batman tells Joker, and I will fucking kill you. When I kill you, and I will fucking kill you. Whew! How do you not want a sequel to that? How do you not want a sequel to that? And dedicated to his daughter, to Autumn. Yeah. Yep. What a wonderful piece of art. And that we all got to enjoy it from the comforts of our home. I hope this universe does move forward. We're getting a Flash film. Definitely get an Aquaman sequel. In the Flash film, will Batman retire? Will Batfleck retire? I think a film between him and Joe Manganiello and then doing the nightmare sequence as well, what that film would look like. What a great complete story of a Batman who becomes entrenched in his own emotions and his own shell by losing a adopted son, Robin, Dick Grayson, to realizing that he must sacrifice himself. Instead of other family members dying or other people, it's himself. And he does. And that's what saves the world. And if not, the multiverse. Some pretty intense stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Some pretty intense stuff. We'll see. All we can do is support, watch, and talk about it. But what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Thank you so much for watching the stream. Hit that like button, subscribe. We're having a blast growing the channel and talking about all these great media events and pop culture and why these modern day Olympians matter so much. The moral stories, the comic books of today create the moral conundrums and help us express what are the human conditions that we're going through. What is the human condition that we all share? And I'm glad we got to do it with this group of heroes. All we need is a Green Lantern, and then we can unite the Seven. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Good night and good game.